Good afternoon, everyone. This is Justin with Mymanjustin's Collectible Emporium, and you are here for my second binder opening. And I just want to thank you all for watching, for all of you that are. And just to give you an update for anyone that didn't see the first one, I've put in my 60 days for my lease to embark on this journey to follow the example of Ash Ketchum, to travel out into the world, to collect them all, to hunt all the best cards, and to meet the elites of the Pokemon world. Of course, for my job, this will be sprung onto them at the last second, but just to give you a backstory of why I'm doing this, I've definitely got some reactions from people that this is kind of crazy. But just to tell you the truth, I didn't have a very good experience with the establishment of the career path for people, as well as the academic and education establishment. It was an experience for what it was, but after going through it and getting to my job, I just ended up feeling not able, I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I decided that I wanted to be submissive to my own conscience and not another person's. I heard someone say to me, follow your own dreams or someone will pay you to follow theirs. So I'm kind of taking heed to that. The idea of freedom itself, the idea to freely create, freely express, freely operate, make executive decisions is really important to me. And after my whole journey of getting my undergraduate education and going into the job world, I felt it didn't give you that. And you know, with a college degree, the only thing you can really do with that is get a career kind of establishment job. You don't get a degree to go be an entrepreneur and do what you want. So if I could give anyone advice, and you have an idea of what you want to do with your life, you certainly don't need college for that. It's definitely an experience. It's interesting to explore different ideas and history and culture and all those things. And if you have more of a hard discipline like physics or computer science, or you're going to be a doctor, it's a bit of a different story. I definitely won't get the security and safety, or at least the perceived security and safety, as I would with my job where I was working, but I really think this is going to be worth it. I think in the end I'll be able to do what I enjoy and what I'm passionate about, and I'll be able to create content, and I'll be able to think and create, and I really hope that anyone watching this will be able to get something insightful from it and enjoy the journey. Now, this second binder is almost exclusively a Wizards of the Coast era cards binder, which is my specialty and expertise in. I know the most about those cards, and we're going to dive right into it, and we're going to talk about the cards, and I'm going to show them off a little bit, and we'll get right to it. All right, so this first page, we got a lot of great cards. Over here, of course, the starter from the original set, all three here, Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. The Charizard is from the base set too, which isn't going to be as sought after as the other two Unlimited series. They are not in the Shadowless or first edition variations, but the Blastoise will still be worth about $25 to $30 depending on condition. That base set 2 Charizard about $30 to $40, and the Venusaur $15 to $25 depending on condition. Now, that Flareon was one of the more popular cards in the Jungle set right over here, along with the Jolteon. The Vaporeon seemed to be a lot more common of a card. Sometimes that card only sell for $2, $3, or $4. It's also notoriously in not that good of condition. You'll notice on a lot of those there's heavy scratching on the foil. So if you can get that card in a really good condition, it can be worth a little more, but it's definitely something to look out for when you're buying holo base set Vaporeons, because like I said, the holo area is off. It's very easily scratched. The Jolteon a little bit as well. The Flareon holds pretty well. The hollow pattern in there and the colors make it a little more sturdy, I guess. We have some Rocket Set, Dark Alakazam, Neo Discovery, I believe, here with the Houndour. And here is a pre-release Misty Seadra. Very cool card. I think that pre-release logo on those cards looks really nice. There is also a pre-release Gyarados in the Team Rocket set and a pre-release Clefable in the Jungle set, with the Clefable being worth by far the most. The Seadra and Gyarados are actually not worth very much because they were most likely printed a lot more of. And draw your attention to this card right here, this Light Arcanine. Very nice card. Also notoriously hard to grade above even PSA 8, and that's actually something that was common to all cards in the Neo Destiny set. You'll notice on even straight out the pack, there is wear, and it'll show a silvering around. Even you'll be able to see it on the front border with Neo Destiny cards, making them even out of the pack getting PSA 8. So that's something to consider with those. It's definitely the kind of card, these Neo Destiny cards are the kind of cards that are very valuable in PSA 9, especially 10. It also happens to be the first set with the Shining variations, although there was a Shining Gyarados in Neo Revelation, but it was much more pronounced with Neo Destiny because it had the Shining Raichu, and also, apart from that, the holo on the Shining cards in Neo Destiny, the Pokemon itself was holographic. But back to what I was saying, there's the holo Mewtwo, or the Shining Mewtwo, the Shining Raichu, Shining Tyranitar, Shining Celebi, Shining Kabutops, Shining Onix. So those are really great looking cards, and those packs are extremely expensive, especially in first edition. A Scyther is another kind of staple card. It's a great card to buy. They hold their value well. There is a lot of Scyther collectors. This Lugia from Neo Genesis is essentially the Charizard card of Neo Genesis. So this card is going to be a card that's maybe worth like $50 if I'm not mistaken. And I'll also talk a little bit about how to list cards like this. So when I see cards like this, cards that can be potentially high valued are good cards to put up for auction. Like something like this Scyther, it's worth maybe around $10, $15 tops. It's a pretty stable price. But cards like this Lugia or even this Charizard, I'll put up for auction to see what the current real market price is and see what people will actually pay for it, because it's kind of a more volatile card because it's so popular, it's so rare, and it's kind of just best for cards like that to let the bidders decide what it's worth rather than sell yourself short. This Mr. Mime is another really popular card. It's from the second set, Jungle set. This Umbreon is a beautiful card, as well as the Espeon, which are both part of Neo Discovery. And the artwork's just great with the moon behind it. It's just a great looking card. They're both going to be worth around the $20 range, I believe. Sabrina's Gengar, like I said in the last video, Gengar is a very popular Pokemon. It holds its value very well, just like the Fossil Gyarados $15 card. Looks great next to Sabrina there, who is a psychic ghost type trainer. That could be something else I talk about later too, is selling cards together that make sense together. Since these cards kind of sell well by themselves alone, I wouldn't really want to mix them up because people are going to specifically want this card and want this card. But there is times where I will think it more appropriate to bundle some certain cards together, like sometimes put in the Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon in a little 3-pack and to maximize value, and for myself and for the customer, because it's common that they collect like that. Okay, so here now cards like this Muck, even though it's a fossil holographic, it's an old card, it still is only going to be worth $3, $2. So it's just something to note, to point out. The fossil, and that's a base set 2 Zapdos, which is, of course, is the same art as the base set, although the holographic pattern on the base set 2 cards have that bubble pattern, so it is a little bit different, and it shines a little more, so it's a little bit of a variation. This Pichu was a really popular card in Neo Genesis, the Japanese version, which always, well, not always, but tend to be worth less than the English counterparts. Alright, we got some Rocket Set Holos, which was the first set to have the dark variations. And also I will point out, going back to that light Arcanine, the Neo Destiny set is the first and I think the only set to showcase the light type Pokemon, which is another aspect of it that makes it unique and desirable to collectors. And this, I believe, this should be the, is that the yeah, this is a no rarity symbol, because these came in a pack with Typhlosion and Feraligatr in this 9-pack set, promotional set, and they, since they were pre-set, they didn't have the rarity symbols, so it makes them a little more desirable to collectors that are collecting those really specific nuance aspects of cards, in this case having no rarity symbol. Here's a Black Star promo. It's a really cool set, the full set. Meryl itself is a very common card in that set. Okay, and here, so this card is interesting. If you also played when you were younger, you would have seen this card given out during the Pokemon movie 2000, or Pokemon, not movie 2000, Mewtwo versus Mew, I believe. And they gave it out when you went to the theater, and there was also a Electabuzz and a Arcanine, I think. And something interesting about these is that they actually misprinted some of these. So this logo here is actually flipped. I think it's right here. So speaking of shining cards, they redid the whole shining type thing later on in Shining Legends. So there's the Shining Mew, which is a solid card that's been holding its value at around $15 to $20, I believe. The Shining Rayquaza up there, it's only around $7 or $8, and the Shining Ho-Oh is just a promo. It's not pulled from packs. Those are around $5. And time will tell if the newer Shinings become as sought after as the old ones, but they're never going to have that same kind of rarity even in the future, I don't think, as the original Neo Destiny ones, but they're still great looking cards. It's also such that the Pokemon itself is holographic, which I think looks really cool. And of course the black Rayquaza is a great look for Rayquaza, I think. There's a Shining Jirachi. We got some more Neo Genesis. There's a base set 2 Mewtwo. Unknown. There's that Electabuzz, another card that was given out with the movie. And this was also given out during the movie. This card, I remember when I first started collecting, I got my dad into it, and he really got into it and had a lot of fun with it. And I remember before the movie came out and they released these with the movie, there is an original, like, first edition, I guess you could say, Japanese version of this card that I think he paid like $500 for, and that's what they were going for. And this was back in 1999, 2000. And when they released these with the movie, just the price just plummeted. But just a little backstory on that, how things can kind of change depending on what the Pokemon company decides to do and how they release things and re-release. Like, and this Lapras is a solid card from the fossil set. These are gonna go for above 10 as long as they're in above excellent to near mint condition. And that is it. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time.